Okay, good afternoon, ladies. It is today the 12th. My God, it's the 12th. Just a heads up. I don't know if did I just post it on the page, or I was going to. I don't know. I think I was going to post it and I didn't. Been a long morning. Anybody who is pushing for qualifying, the deadline is next week for the third quarter. So I'm going to post the fourth quarter one. So if any of you are pushing for 2-star by the fourth quarter for the bonus, you know what the absolute last deadline will be. Is that the baby on you?
That is, yeah.
All I saw was a part of her ear, and I'm like, what's going on, Annie? Like, all I saw is the top of her little head. All right, let's jump right into this. So I kind of knew the story about this guy, this Costco guy. It was part of a business economics class I took a bajillion years ago. So I kind of knew this, but this was really interesting to kind of listen to. So let's jump right in. Anna, you've got both kids on your lap. I'm going to go right to you first.
Okay,
way,
sounds good.
Hop off, you're good.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've definitely read about this Costco guy before too, and I think he definitely sets, like they talked about in it, he sets an example different from the way that most people treat being a CEO and being a leader. A lot of people think that being a leader means that you can just take, and you deserve to be rewarded for everything you do, when in fact you need to, I think kind of the whole point of this is that you need to be paying it down to the people that you're leading, and you're there basically to help them advance, which I think is how it relates to the diamonds. Our purpose is to help other people be successful and become leaders, not for us to, get recognition and get accolades and just make a ton of money by ourselves. That will come when we help other people be successful as well and become leaders. So it really, reading about it really made me kind of reflect back to my father-in-law, who owned his own business. And just over the years, I kind of saw him make all these mistakes. He would go on these extravagant vacations and not be there a lot. He had just kind of checked out and felt like he deserved, like he always drove a Mercedes, and felt like he had to put on this image of like what a CEO was supposed to be. And I think that rather than it gaining him the respect and credibility, it made people really resentful of him, because they saw that he was taking all of this money from the company and that they weren't getting paid and they weren't being respected. So I had never, over the years, I kind of saw him make all these mistakes, and I had never really boiled it down to what this chapter was talking about as to, why it was that he was not respected and successful in a lot of ways. But, this really kind of brought that into clarity for me. But, just in terms of our businesses, I think it, we're not going to be successful for what we do. We're going to be successful for helping other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's a big thing. We become star diamonds by developing leaders. And, I try to really relate to, especially the newer people on the team, that, this title, that's not me, that's you guys. That's the work of the team. The coach actually has very little to do with it. I'm responsible for signing on new coaches and developing new coaches, but ultimately it comes to a team effort, which I think we kind of have seen has really kind of shifted the dynamic of the team. We really have started to become much more like a tribe. But let's kind of dig into that. I mean, we talk a lot about adding value. And when you're a new diamond, I mean, I know for me, the mistakes I made as a new diamond was I really wasn't leading people. I was recruiting because I knew how to recruit, but I didn't know how to lead. And that's a big thing, especially in this network. You know, there's a big difference between being a good recruiter and an actual sponsor or a leader. They are not mutually inclusive. And sometimes, corporate can think that they're kind of treat them like they're one and the same, when in fact they're really very different. So for me, I knew I was recruiting people, but I wasn't really sponsoring them. I wasn't mentoring them. I wasn't really bringing them on. And I kind of had the mentality, well, I got to Diamond. Like, why can't you guys just get to Diamond? And I really had to figure out how to lead them. So I know it was something that you struggled with. So, like,
yeah,
let's
absolutely.
talk a little about that. I know you kind of struggled with trying to really help coaches want to be Diamond and really try to figure out, because you had all of a sudden you kind of had that little shift and your whole team kind of started duplicating almost all at the same time.
Yeah, I think that, it's easy to say, like, a lot of the time, I know what I kept saying was like, oh, I can't find people that want to build. They're all for the discount, which, yeah, that's definitely part of it, is like who it is that you're recruiting, that you need to be like, obviously you want to offer the discount. But you also need to be developing those discount coaches into people who want to build, and then also finding people who just want to work the business. But then once they come on, it definitely takes a whole other skill set to really help them. I've definitely had coaches come in where I felt like they were going to be good builders, and apparently, like, even if they told me like, oh, I don't need any help, I'm just going to do it on my own, I would be like, okay, go do it. And then they wouldn't. And, that was a failing of me as a leader, not to be helping them more with what they needed and what they were struggling with. So, it definitely is important to keep reaching out to them and see how you can support them, and not just expect that people are going to do stuff on their own. They really need you to, to help them when they're struggling, and to really develop those leadership skills, because I think that's the part where a lot of people don't have the experience, where we're really good at following, but we aren't necessarily brought up to be leaders and with leadership skills in our society. In most societies, I think. So really helping somebody develop those leadership skills, even just to, to become an emerald, and start building their team, is really important. I think sharing a lot of this information, with our downline is going to be very important. People who aren't Diamond yet, but are building towards it.
Okay, I want to go back to that 1 second, and then I want to go to Steph. But what you just said about, you don't think that people in our society today are necessarily able to lead. Do you think that is something that's innate? Do you think that's a personality trait, kind of like we talk about with the gems? Do you think that either like you've got it or you don't, and either you have it and we have to pull it out of you, or you just don't have it at all and we have to kind of create it within you?
No, I think that everybody has the potential. I think it's just not a skill set that is developed in our society and in our educational system. I think that pretty much anybody can work on it and can develop the skill set. It's just not something that is taught. I mean, obviously some people are more charismatic than others and are more innate leaders than others, but I think that a lot of the time, even people with those character traits, I think that so often they think that they were just born a good leader, that they don't work on the skills to actually be a good leader. Like it was talking about, that one guy who just like walked past that group of employees without saying good morning. And we have had our guy who just left, who was like right under Hill and I, he would do the same thing, and it would drive me up the freaking wall, Like he would come in and not say hello to anybody and leave without saying goodnight to anybody. Even like you could be sitting right there and it would drive me crazy. But he always thought that he was a good leader, and I think he had some character traits that would lend himself to that, but he didn't have the skill set at all. And the skills are something that you can learn and you can develop. So I think that pretty much anybody can learn those skills.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, people say, like, I saw all the people who, I mean, you were at Summit last year, got a little bit of it this year, especially with the parties and being outside in Nashville, especially in Cancun. People that were at these events for the first time really kind of come around and they're like, I can't believe Jeff Hill is walking around. I can't believe Michael Diamond is just wandering. That's leadership. That's what they do. That's why they do it. I mean, how much more respect do we have for Jeff and Michael and even Carl, because Carl says he shows up every day.
Right.
You know, he went to 5 Super Saturdays, Super Sundays in 3 days. And, you know, we were all talking about it on Saturday. And, you know, I said to Mickey, you know, and you know what? We all know he's going to be the first one in the office on Monday morning. The guy who has every reason to say, you know what? I just flew from Puerto Rico to Miami to New York to wherever, Indianapolis to wherever he went, to Portland. You know, I'm not going to go in on Monday, and he's the first one there because that's leadership, and that's leading by example and showing that it doesn't matter where you are. You know, that's why these guys are out and they're kind of in everybody's faces to show that, you know, you run with everybody. You don't really run in front of them, I guess. Right. It's probably, you know, it's probably a good kind of, I guess, way to sort of explain it. But that's interesting to kind of hear your take on it with your guys. Because we've seen that too. I mean, I think we've all seen that in places that, you know, that we've worked, that once people get a promotion or they think that they're the boss, they kind of feel like they're above everybody else. So
and I know it would really hurt. Like I would then hear my employees, like when he would leave at the end of the day and not say, like, walk right by you and not say goodbye. Like then all the other employees are like, what did I do? Is he mad at me? Like, what did I do to piss him off? And, you know, and I would just have to be like, oh, that's just Adam. He does that like every single night. Don't take it personally. But like people take that kind of thing personally. They think that you don't like them and, you know, all of that. So they're not going to follow you if they think that you're pissed off at them all the time.
Right. I totally agree. Let me unmute Courtney. Let's go to you. Is that you or is that Leah? I think that's Courtney.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something, branching off on what you guys just said about everybody having the potential to be a leader. I find that that is true to an extent, but once people, like for instance, I have a girl on my team that she wants this to work. She wants to get to Diamond. She wants me to help her, but she's kind of lazy and she wants me to like basically do all the work for her. And you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, there's only so much that I can help you do, but, you know, you're the one that has to kind of step up and do the work yourself. Like, I'm having a hard enough time doing my own work. Like, I can't really do that for you. So I feel like, you know, some people just, they do have it in them to become leaders. But again, I don't know, like, some people just don't. And it's not that they're just brought up being lazy, but maybe they have too much stuff going on. And I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like on the fence about somebody having the potential to become a leader, or if they just really don't have it in them at all. It's very hard for them to, you know, bring people onto the team and, you know, do what really they're supposed to be doing to get to Diamond. I think some people just might not have it in them. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you're making sense. And I feel like this could be a totally separate 3-hour call.
Yeah,
I feel like.
big.
But to touch on that really, really lightly, they either A, are not doing personal development, which they're probably not. B,
I agree.
they don't really see this as a legitimate opportunity. Like, they want to believe it, they say that they believe it, but they don't actually have that mindset yet where they believe it. And that goes back to personal development. And the third thing is, I would go back to their why. And I would ask them, like, why do you, very simple, why do you want to be a diamond? If it's income, great. You know what? Your income doesn't come at diamond. Your income shows up once you get to 2-star. So they have to really be in for the long haul. And that's really kind of a shift that, you know, that's why I feel like we need to be making sure that we're developing diamonds at not a faster rate, but that we're developing more of them. Because right now, coaches see it as something unattainable and something difficult. It is not difficult to get to diamond. Right. If you are focused, if you have a strong why, and if she comes up with, and she can articulate her why and explain it, then it's very simple. Your why is not matching your behaviors. And that goes back to, you need to sit down, you need to focus, and you need to say, you know what, is this really what I want? Because if your whys aren't matching your behaviors, then the why isn't strong enough. So you have to revisit that and go back to that. And sometimes, yeah, people are just lazy. And you know what? I would just say, you know what? I will help you. I will mentor you. I can lead you. This is your business. I'm not doing it for you.
Right.
And there has to come a point where you can only, quote unquote, drag, you know, somebody along for so long.
Yeah, I mean, this even kind of wanted to quit the business for a while, you know, because she has too much going on. And I kind of had to, like, talk her down off of the ledge in a way. Like, I kind of myself, I think I stepped up in that leadership role and said, listen, like, not that I necessarily want to hold your hand, but you know what? Let me hold your hand just for a little while. Let me show you how I did it. Let me help you. And, you know, because usually she just wanted to do things on her own and this and that. But now I think she's seeing that she does need my help and guidance. And that's what I've kind of been doing. But again, she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing, what I'm telling her to do. So
then you can't do anything about it. You just have to say, you know what? And here's what I do. Let me tell you something. I don't do calls with them. I don't do calls with them. I don't do calls with coaches that are inactive, that ask for my time. They have to be active. And that's if they're a coach for less than 8 weeks. They're a coach who's been around for a while. They not only have to be an active coach, they have to have Success Club points on the board and a BAT to hand me before I do a call with them. I will not do a phone call otherwise. Because that shows me that they're serious about their business. Now, maybe you want to say, make sure you're active. Make sure you have a BAT for me. And then we can talk about helping you push to Success Club. You know, but that's something that you really kind of want to have to really have her sit down and revisit her why. My advice would be have her redo her business quick start. Let her go through that again and kind of see what it is. But let's go back to this. Let's go back to your thoughts on the chapter in the book.
I love this guy. I love the CEO. I love his mindset, but yeah, I think it's completely outdated. I don't really think there are a lot of companies that have CEOs like that. Actually, the corporate company that I work for right now, my CEO, I kind of explained a little bit last week in the team page, but he is like one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He has a company of over 500 people, and he lets himself be known. He walks out onto the floor. He says hi to everybody. He received like a huge, huge bonus. And instead of keeping it for himself, which he could have easily done, he gave each of us $1,000. And that was after taxes. So I brought home an extra $1,000 of his bonus. And it's just people like that that you kind of want to stick with what you're doing because they really do care about you. But I know that's not a perfect world. I know that's not everywhere. And it kind of makes me sad that there's a lot of CEOs out there that have a completely different mindset, that it's all about them. It's all about them making the money, and it's not about the little peons like me. It's about them. And that's the other thing what I like about what we're doing, and the fact that we're here to help our team grow. We're here to help, the ones that are technically below us develop into those, those diamonds and those stars. And I think it's great. I think that what we're doing is great. And that's why I actually enjoy being with this company, being with this team. And hopefully one day I can leave the corporate world, maybe in a year or two. But that's basically my thought on it. I wish that more companies these days would be like that, but I know they're not.
So what do you feel like you can do to help develop diamonds of your own? I mean, how do you feel like you can add value to your team and help grow leaders?
Basically what I did recently was I picked I really only have 4 workers on my team right now. So I'm kind of working a lot more closely with those 4 just to start developing them into diamonds. I'm going to be honest, I'm having a hard time recruiting. I didn't stop when I became diamond, but I don't know, something's not working with me right now, with recruiting. And I'm kind of just at a standstill with that, and I've been trying to get my emeralds. I have 5 emeralds, I think. So I'm trying to just get them to develop stuff. For instance, the Team Cup. I post on my Team Cup page, what I want them to post daily. What did we do today? To randomly pick 5 people or so from their friends list that they haven't talked to in a while. And, I've just been doing daily things to help them get more comfortable with posting on Facebook and reaching out to new people and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to my team. I don't know. I'm just trying to be more of a leader. I felt like for a while I've kind of been sitting back and letting them do it themselves. But I'm trying to put myself out there more.
Gotcha. Okay, Steph, I'm going to unmute you. Wait a minute. She's ready to run, man. She's I just have feedback from you, so I'm going to mute you. Go ahead. Oh my God, she's ready to bounce off your lap, little peanut.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a similar position to Courtney. Although I felt like what you said before, I feel like I'm in that recruiting stage still. I'm still trying to get so many people on board, and because I have a lot of people that just want the discount. Although it's been a little encouraging lately that a few have just had their first sale. Even though they are only discount coaches, they've made their first sale. So now they're all getting excited about it. So I'm trying to really, harvest that excitement and do, something with it and hope they move forward. But like I had told you, besides, Courtney and Elisa, I really didn't have anybody that wanted to do the cup. They said they weren't comfortable doing it. So they, they kind of backed off. But I'm working with a lot, with other people from, I think, your downline, Brianne, and it's been interesting. They're looking at me as a leader because I'm the head of the cup, and it's a different feeling that I haven't had in the business yet. So I thought it was a good step for me last night. I ran a Zoom, and we, similar to Courtney, I've been, trying to step up and be more of a leader with the cup team, even though they're people that are very capable of being diamond themselves, so they're just a step or 2 away. So that was a good thing for me in my business right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing this is part of what I love about the cup is we really kind of find out who is ready to step up and be a leader. And I think that's the biggest difference is you know, you go to bed as an emerald or a ruby and you wake up as a diamond, and you don't turn into that leader overnight. And I think a lot of people almost kind of expect that sort of shift to happen that quickly. And that's really not how it works. For me, my gosh, I was diamond a good 6-7 months before I actually felt like, okay, I know what I need to do. You know, as opposed to waking up one day and being like, okay, I'm a diamond, now I'm ready to like run my own team. And, but I think that that's good. And I think that, you having that feeling that others are looking to you as a leader is going to be very empowering for you. I think it's going to be something that's going to help your business, because whether you realize it or not, you'll start going into what you're doing with a little more confidence. So let's go back to adding value. Now, we've talked a lot about how you have, you know, you thought you only had Courtney and Elisa who were ready to work this business. And now you have all of these discount coaches that are starting to make sales. So a great way to just add a little bit of value to them is let them know how dead this month is. August is notoriously slow, crazy slow. And I haven't updated it in a couple of days, but I'm looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 26 coaches just with points on the board. That's not bad for a pretty slow month. So your coaches who are making their first sale in the month of August, you know what? If you can make your very, very first sale in August is probably the slowest month of the year. Slowly followed by late October to mid-November. So if they can kickstart their business in the slowest month of the year, imagine what they're going to do in the fourth quarter. You know, and that's a great way to just pump them up. You know, let them know, you know, what, you know, is kind of going on with the cup, you know, say, you know, you've done this. This is a great thing. When we do another cup, which will probably be November, I think they'll probably do another one. I'm thinking they won't do it in October now that we have one in August, but they'll probably do one in November. This is a great way for them to say, you know what, you can do it. Let's keep going so we can get you on a team next time around. And all of your people, this is for everybody. If you have a coach that's on a team with you now, they should be leading a team next cup. They really should be, especially those who are really strong emeralds, or if they're diamond, they have to be, and they have to be on a separate team. Really strong emeralds, coaches that are pushing for diamond, coaches that you see that sort of have that little bit of, you know, leadership within them. I think this is kind of what the cup is all about. It really kind of shows who can lead a team, and how you kind of step into that role, even if it's just for 30 days. So, I kind of went off on a tangent. I don't remember what I was talking about. But, I wrote down something. Wait a minute. So the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was, it was like at the end of this chapter when we were talking about taking steps to really help your team, help bring value to your team, and then help those coaches, you know, really kind of see that growth within themselves. Annie, she's like, oh my God, I'm being called on. Do you want me to unmute you? Did you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, I missed the question. We had a little accident on the floor. So what were you asking?
Hi, Bill. Oh, little peanut. talking about really how we can kind of make that shift and not really just add value to the people that we want to empower to become diamond, but to help them understand really what they have, really, how they do have those leadership qualities within them that they really kind of need to sort of bring up to the surface.
Yeah, I think I think even just doing little tiny recognition with people, when you see somebody make that first step out of their comfort zone, or that first like little thing that is a leadership quality, even if it's not like a public recognition, but even just sending them a little message saying like, that was awesome, you did such a great job. Or I know like I have a group going for my cup team, and a few of them have said like, oh, I did this, it was so scary, but I did it. And giving them that praise, and really helping them to develop those skills and encourage them, do this one little thing, and then praise them for that, and empower them to then take that next step, and give them the next little tiny step that they can take. And really, obviously you can, like you were saying with Carl, you can be a leader by example. So, we all really need to be doing those things every day and really showing our team what those leadership qualities are. And then when they do them, to actually recognize that and praise them. And I've found that since I started giving a lot more praise, like public praise in my team page, when people do little things, now people are coming in and saying like, I did this, I did that, both on the cup group and in my team page. And then also I've started doing a weekly Zoom with my coaches that's more of like a Q&A, just where they can come in. And I've been, at the beginning, I usually have a question for everybody to answer, like talk about their why, talk about their goals, stuff like that. And then I just open it up for questions, and just really encouraging everybody to be more engaged and engage each other, not just have it be me answering the questions, but have other people step up and give their input, has really helped a lot. It's helped bring the team together, but it also has helped people start taking on that leadership role a little bit more, and give other people value, give other people insight.
Awesome. Do you guys have any specific questions that I'm going to take you guys off mute? That would be helpful, huh? Do you guys have any specific questions, like regarding leadership and developing these sort of things before we wrap up?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, I feel like with the people that are just starting to make sales and all of that, how do I shift from telling them how to do everything to making them do it on their own? Because I know that you've been doing that, but like they'll ask me things that are very clear, either from your team page or my team page, and I don't want to discourage them by saying find it yourself or do it yourself, but how do I make that shift?
So actually Annie posted something in our page, and I don't even know if it's still there. We should bump it up. But she had like a little thing that said start here. And it was basically like, here's when the team calls are. The FAQ is your best resource. Google exists. Use it. And a couple of other like little tidbits. We probably could bump that up. And a great thing that I do, and I do it with some of your coaches that come to me, because I literally do not check private messages. I check them like maybe once a day, if that. And it's usually like I scroll through them, and if it's like somebody who needs to sign up or somebody who needs a link to buy to do that, then I check it real quick and I scroll through them, because anybody who needs me urgently enough has my cell phone number. So they can find me if they need me. So I try to stay away from those messages. And when I get messages from coaches, I do a couple of things. First of all, sometimes I don't always check them, which gives them time to find the answer on their own. You don't want to be jumping as soon as your coaches message you. You just don't. It's so hard, believe me, I know, but don't do it. Because as your team grows, you're going to get sucked into doing it. Learn, that was probably the biggest mistake that I made, was making myself too available for everybody from day one, because I didn't have anybody to tell me otherwise. And once you're deeper into this, it's very hard to set those boundaries. It really took a lot in me to kind of get new habits. So a great thing that I do, much to some people's dismay, they don't like it, but it works, is if they send me a message with what I would call like a kind of question, is I respond and I say, you know what, that's a great question. I'm sure a lot of coaches have it too. Could you do me a favor and post it in the team page and I can answer it in there for you? So that does a couple of things. It lets them know that I'm not going to just give them one-on-one to answer their questions immediately as soon as they have one. 2, if they want to know the answer from me bad enough, they'll go post it in there, or they'll go look on their own. And 3, then they're going to go and post it in the page. Guess who's not answering the question? Me. Because it gives 200 other people who can take on a leadership role the opportunity to answer that question. So if, you know, you have somebody who, say Tova has a dumb moment and asks a question in the page, and one of your new coaches, Steph, is like, oh my God, that's a diamond asking that question. I know the answer to that question. That empowers that coach. That lets them be like, wow, you know what? Hi. What? Wait a second. Okay. No, I'm talking right now. What?
I think I'm just afraid that I'm going to like turn them off if they're you know, looking to me to answer their question, and then I'm kind of skirting around just doing it.
So you could do that. And then the other thing is, and like my mom actually asked me the same question last week. And what I said to her was, the other option, which is like the nicer version of what I would say to them, is here, I'll put it in the cup. Oh, that's dirty. Is that, would you like me to give you the answer, or would you like me to tell you where you can find the answer so you know going forward some of the resources that we have available to us? Most of the time, they'll say, oh, where can I find it? Or you can just say, I don't know 100%, but a great place to find that answer would probably be in the FAQ or in Google, or you know what? I'm pretty sure there's a doc that would help you with that in the team page. Anything like that. To try to guide them to finding the answer on their own without actually being like, I'm not giving you the answer. We want to help them, but we also want to empower them, because then they become complacent, and then they become too reliable, and then they don't become independent, and then it sucks the life out of you. Trust me, we've all been there.
I've also found that some coaches, they don't want to bother me. Like, they might ask one question, but they really have like 20 questions, and they don't want to bother me. So then they end up not asking, and then they just kind of get frustrated and discouraged and then kind of check out. So if you can instead give them a place to go, like, yeah, when I've told people like, go post it in the team page, you know, I can't answer this right now, I don't have time, go post it there. You know, then they'll start being more active and posting anytime they have a question, then they're posting it up. So they're actually getting help, rather than being like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm bugging her. Because I've had a lot of coaches say that to me, like, I just feel like I'm bugging you all the time with these stupid questions. And I'm like, well, gosh, if they're saying that, like, how many more questions do they have that they aren't even asking? So I think that's a really good point, is giving them the other resources that they can use to find out the answer will help them be better coaches and get answers to more of the questions they have. And what Brienne was saying with empowering coaches by them being able to answer the questions. I know my mom has been like, she's been able to answer some questions recently in the page, and she has been like so excited. Like she'll like text me like, oh my God, I was able to answer a question in the team page. It was awesome. And you know, that really like, she's like, look how much I know. That's so cool that I like know the answer to this stuff now. So that's really encouraged her and, you know, made her realize that she's not just some like idiot who's so confused and doesn't know what's going on. Like she can actually help people.
And that's it. And I think that's really what we want to kind of instill in them is that, you know, it doesn't matter how far down in the downline they are. It doesn't matter. And that's why, like, when I see coaches that are 4 and 5 levels deep, that are, you know, close to diamond, I want to make sure that I reach out to them. I want to make sure that I give them a shout out. Because, and I don't know, because I don't really know them. It seems like Megan and Courtney are very, very engaged in this business. And Elisa is kind of like, So that's another thing that not that the responsibility kind of falls to you, but they're going to naturally look to you as their leader. They're going to naturally look to you as their go-to. If she's kind of like in and out of the business. And she may very well, once she sees them both pop, she may all of a sudden be like, holy shit, like I better show up, you know, and kind of start doing this. But
they don't reach out to me at all.
Yeah, they're kind of like in their little cluster down there. And I usually don't hear from them very much either. And they're, I think, the kind of people I've had Courtney reach out to me once in the past 4 or 5 months. And I just said, you know, go post her question in the team page and I can answer it in there. And I think she found the answer on her own. Like, I don't even think that she posted it in there. But that's also a good thing. I mean, they very much, I think they all kind of like grew up together. So they all kind of have that close tie already, where so many of us kind of have to really work to create this tribe within us, within the team. So, and that's another thing, great books on leadership. I just posted that whole list in the page. If that's something that you guys are struggling with, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek is a freaking fantastic book. Read it. Tribes by Seth Godin. Another great one. I'm like looking to see what I have on my list here. Annie's like nodding like she's going to chime in. Being a Person of Influence is an old one, but it's a really good one. Being a Person of Influence by John Maxwell. Entre Leadership. We all won that one. That's a great book. Go read that. By, is that Dave Ramsey? Oh, Dave Ramsey. Those are all great books on leadership, and really trying to figure out how to balance it all. And that's really the biggest message is you can't shift into management mode. It's important to help mentor your team, but you still have a whole business to focus on. You know, so you need to make sure that you're giving your business the time that it deserves as well. And that's kind of where things like, that's a great question, can you post it in the team page? That's where things like that come into play. Because I think that we don't realize how much time all of that does take. You know, I love trading calls with all of the other, you know, wallers, as we call them, in the network. I love having new people on these calls. But you know what? That takes an extra 2 hours out of my week every week, because now I've got to go get on 2 more calls each week that I wasn't planning on doing. But for me, it's about bringing the value to you guys. And when you guys start doing, I don't know if you are doing your own calls, whether they're biweekly or monthly or whatever you guys are doing, trade. You guys are all in that Northeast Diamond page. Trade with people in there. There's great resources. We always say same message, different voice. And it could just be that somebody needs to hear it from someone else and not from you. I have to post the link. I did an interview with Dave Ward last week for his team. He's going to come on and do one for us in the next couple of weeks. And we sat there, we were talking about elite, and he asked a question and I gave this really long answer. And he was like, I swear to God, this is not a setup. And he was like, this is like literally the exact thing that you said verbatim was what he'd been saying to his coaches for 3 months about elite, and nobody was listening to him. And he was like, I swear to God, this was not a setup, but they all watched it, and a handful of them were like, seriously? Like, now we get it. And he was like, what do you mean now you get it? Like, I've been saying it. So it kind of goes back to that. So if you feel like there's a topic that you don't think that you're well-versed enough to train on, go look in that page. You guys have great resources in there. There's a lot of up-and-coming star diamonds in the company, and that's a great resource and a great place to find them. And that will empower all of you guys too, I think, to be able to introduce somebody else on the call, to be able to speak on somebody else's call, because you're going to get through to them. That was a total tangent too. Also, any videos that are in the coach training lab. I don't know if any of you plan on starting to do training videos for your team. If there's videos in there that you're like, I could do a better job at this, or I'd like to see what I can do, I would much rather our team see videos from you guys as leaders as opposed to leaders from other teams. There's a lot of cross-line training going on, which is really helping. But for all intents and purposes, I would like to have the first leaders that these new coaches see be the people in our page. So something as simple as, when I have my intro on there with my why and my introduction, post yours, share yours, so that your coaches see you and not just me. Sorry, my lenses are like ready to fall out of my eyes. So that your coaches see you guys too, and not just me. And if you guys, I don't know, I know Annie has Get Response already, and she's got all her stuff set up. If any of you guys want those templates of those emails so that your coaches get those emails from you, all you have to do is ask. Then they don't have my picture at the bottom of the emails. They don't have all the stuff about me in the emails. They have it about you, about their diamond upline or their star diamond upline. It's all easily duplicatable. That's why I did it that way. It's there for everybody. Sorry, that was a total side note. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? It's been a long morning. No, Cora, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like she's like on the island because she can't see us.
Yeah.
I could. I wish I could.
So, all right, ladies. Next week we are going to work on struggles. Yay. So we're going to work on talking about conquering struggles that we have. So, this is a good month to kind of talk about that too. I feel like anywhere where our business really may be lacking is definitely going to kind of show up this month. I know I slacked with Summit and everything else. I slacked on my follow-ups for the last couple of weeks. Believe me, it is showing now. So I'm right there in the trenches with you guys. Trust me. I have 0 points on the board. For those of you guys who all have, I have 0 points on the board, and it is the 12th of the month.
I'm negative. Just a negative.
Oh yeah, fourth negative. Hey, were those returns over 60 days?
One was. So one I got the points back from, but I'm still in the negative.
Okay, so you're at -2?
I'm at -2, but I did sell a challenge at night, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, and that's another thing. Stuff like that. Returns on Wednesdays, active status guarantee. Do not forget about that. And challenge packs, Shakeology returns. We've had a lot come through lately. We never have returns. And I am seeing them a lot. But for you guys who don't know, if they return a bag of Shakeology or a challenge pack and it's over 60 days from the date of purchase, they'll give you the volume, they'll give you the commission and the points back for it. And if you need active status reinstated, they'll give you the volume back too.
Yeah, so, I didn't realize that. That was great. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's something, and that's all under active status guarantee in the FAQ. And you can look at the returns policy in the FAQ, and it gives you the outline for all of the products that we have. It's whatever the money back guarantee is plus 30 days. So for Shakeology, 60 days, challenge pack, 60 days. You can kind of go through all of that. That's really important to let your teams know, because we may have had returns come through that they don't know they could have gotten their points or whatever back on. That stuff like that is super important that you guys kind of know where to find that stuff. So, okay, ladies, I have to hop on like another hour of calls now. So I'm going to cut it so I can go find food in the next 7 minutes. It is Wednesday. Make sure to check your back office, check your drill downs, check your previous office view. If you have people that have to order tonight because it's going to show faster. If you have somebody who needs active status guarantee instated, please email me. I'm not checking messages. And I will get that taken care of tonight. And there was something else. Oh, screenshot if you are in qualifying, Stephanie Commando, screenshot your back office, screenshot your drill down tonight. We have had issues where all of a sudden these glitches pop up in the back office that were not there Wednesday at 11:59, and then people have fallen out of rank Thursday morning. So don't even get me started. Just screenshot your sponsorship drill down before you go to bed tonight. And watch, because there's coaches being canceled left and right now for non-payment. So just keep an eye on your back office for canceled coaches. Okay, that's it. Have a good one, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Bye.